Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and let me say good night to the good people of Amazonia who, as a result of a very tragic history, we are all scattered around the globe. Accept greetings from your humble servant, Dr. Ebenezer Mbongo Akwanga. Today, I've decided to speak to you, my brothers, my sisters, my moms and my dads, my grandmoms, my granddads, my cousins, my uncles, my nephews, my nieces. I've decided to speak to you, my own people, for I can feel your pain. I understand your suffering, for I have been there and I am still there. We are all together in this. But before I begin speaking to you, it's important that I make some clarity on a number of issues that have been raised since my last message to Dictator Paul Biya, to whom I will be speaking directly tomorrow, to lay down the case on why we can no longer go back and on why the independence of our homeland is non-negotiable, and that this time we will take it. We will not wait for anyone to hand it to us. For history teaches that that has never happened. First, some wrote to me complaining that I have used myself, I have used the singular I a lot of times. Frankly, I owe no apology. The only reason I have to inject my story into this discourse is simply because my story is your story. The persecutions, the sufferings, the assassination attempts, the thingification, the dehumanization, everything I have gone through is typical of the story of the people of Amazonia. I might have been opportune that I have this opportunity to speak out. There are others, my brothers and sisters, my moms, my dads, my granddads, those of you listening to me, and those who will hear this story, that there is nothing strange, as extreme as what has happened to me could be, but it is not that too strange to the history of each and every one of us Amazonians. Because even our brothers and sisters who have put themselves to treachery, who are working with the very system to persecute us, they themselves, frankly, are slaves. They are not free. For if they were free, they would not be doing the things they have been doing against us all these years. And to that group of people, that list of treacherers, I have a special day for them that I will need to talk to them and tell them what is coming to them and what awaits them. The other issue which was raised is that all my messages are extremely long. But let me ask you, my brothers and sisters, the good people of Amazonia, how could you tell a man who is so angry, a man who has been pushed to the wall all his life, how could you tell somebody, a people, that their message is too long? Is it the length of the message, or it is the worth of what that message carries? We know, Amazonians, how much we have suffered. We know. We should be patient enough to listen and learn about our history. We should not be deceived, so that when we make decisions, it should be decisions that we have ourselves, not one that we have just simply been convinced by an individual. At the age of 15, I knew things were not right. In Form 2 in secondary school, I wrote to Théophile Abegambida while he was playing for Toulouse FC in France, asking him why the then national team of La République du Cameroon, the Indomitable Lions, had not a single Southern Cameroonian. That was at the age of 2. My eyes were far open because I wanted to find out where I come from. I wanted to know where I was heading to. That is what I want each and every one of you, the young, the old, who have failed to sit on the fireside and have a chat with their children, to tell them the truth and why our people have been suffering all these years. Now is the time for us to break away from that office and look at the future with optimism, because I want to tell you, my brothers and sisters, upon the grave of my late mom and dad that I have not seen, we are not going back. Nothing will stop us. This time, this hour, we will get what we want. It will not be given to us. We will seize it because it is ours. The other issue I want to raise is that my messages are good, but I'm too insulting to Paul Biya. Now you tell me, a person who has turned the people of Ambazonia, who have turned my own people, you, my people, into plastic balls. Some of you know what we used to call air control. You will kick it, it has no direction. That is exactly what Biya, for more than 34 years as president, and since 1962, that our parents, our great-grandparents have been paying taxes to take care of this man and his family, have done to us. He has turned us into plastic balls. You know what air control ball is? You kick it, it gets burst, it is wasted, and it is thrown. That is exactly who we are. That is what we have been reduced into. Useless plastic balls, used to be dumped. I can assure you that at this moment, Ephraim Inoni is accepting what I'm saying. I can assure you at this moment, Fonjindam is accepting what I'm saying. And at this particular moment, I can assure you that Simon Achidi Achu will not say it in public, but is accepting what I'm saying. Because he is the chief slave. He is a slave. If he was a free man, he would think freely. He is not a free man. They are all not free. Nalova Leonga Pauline is not free. Each and every one of them have been thingified and demeaned. And they are fully aware of that. They don't say it in public. And they watch what I say. They listen to what I say in their bedrooms. And they know there is nothing I have said which is not true about the faith of us, the people of Ambazonia. Some say Cameroon is peaceful. It's the absence of total confrontation, because the other side has been killing us and we have not been able to retaliate. We have not been able to defend ourselves with the necessary instruments needed. Does that signify that there is peace? What type of peace are we talking about? A temporal negative peace, or the permanent positive peace which made our parents to walk out of the Eastern Regional House of Assembly at Enugu and began chatting away for us in Boya, sitting at the Prime Minister's lodge at the foot of Mount Fako. Another issue that has been raised is that we are violent. I use a lot of violent language. Let me be very clear here. The only reason that has come out, my dear people, it is because we have not yet done what history demands of us, our ability to defend ourselves. And that is what we as a people are bound to do. And let me also emphasize that the whole notion of violence has been misunderstood. Because violence is the language of the unheard. When a people have been refused the ears of those who say they are in charge of things, when people have complained time and time again, even with their own body, they have used grenade on them. They have not just tear gassed them. They have murdered mercilessly. When every time they complain, they are killed. And the very people who killed us live among us, rent our houses, go to our markets, and we sell the same food items to them. At the end of the day, we have to react. And at that time, violence becomes a suicidal call for freedom and justice. No, we are not a violent people. We are a people who just want to take back who we are. We want to take back our lives. My brothers, my sisters, my cousins, my uncles, those of you who are suffering in Kuwait today, those who are dying every now and then in Mexico, in Nicaragua, all struggling to find yourself into the United States. I don't only receive phone calls. I have seen corpses, and I have traveled from the United Kingdom right to Latin America to bury my own. All because we do not have any possibility to survive as a people in the land of our birth. Yesterday, Issa Chiroma, Paul Biya's messenger, described us as extremists. He was not just insulting us. He was insulting Paul Biya's head boy, young Philemon, that we are extremists. But fellow Ambazonians, this is what I want you to know. Yes, we are extremists. That is who we are. But the question is not whether we are extremists, as Dr. King said. It is what type of extremists are we? Paul Biya is an extremist in the ability of raping the natural resources of our land. He is an extremist for murder. He is an extremist for political assassination. He is a chief extremist for thievery. He is an extremist in the field of morons. He is an extremist in the list of iguanas. Issa Chiroma is an extremist in the list of idiots, of imbeciles. So what type of extremists are we? We are extremists for the cause of freedom. Because if truly we are not extremists, if we do not treat this issue of freedom for our homeland, for the generations of children yet unborn, nobody should deceive you. We will never attain that freedom. That extremism is a certain degree of madness. We have to be mad for freedom. We have to call it for what it is. We don't have to be scared to say what we want to say. And we don't have to be scared to be labeled terrorists or extremists, because it is our legitimate and moral right to defend ourselves. For if we do not do that, we will be morally responsible for the continuous shooting of our brothers and sisters. We, as a people, will be morally responsible. Now, my dear brothers, sisters, moms, dads, uncles, granddads, for over more than a month, common law lawyers have been on strike. And our brothers, our sisters, our children, our parents, who are teachers, have also been on strike. But what exactly are they striking to achieve? Yesterday, there were demonstrations in some capitals here in the West. And there you could see the conflict between federation and independence. But I want to speak to you from the burnings of my heart. I want you to know the truth. Either those who are propagating the whole issue of federation are totally ignorant of how far we have come to reach this zero option of total independence, or they are cowards. I'm sorry to say that, but that is the truth. Or they know that what they are doing is to divert the attention for what actually is needed for our people. In other words, they are indirectly or directly working against the aspirations of independence. And I want to tell you why. It is not because I am an independentist. It is because let history judge us for what we are doing. The Cameroon Anglophone movement was formed with people like the late Albert Woma Mukong, Barrister Enonchom, who became the first chairman of the Cameroon Anglophone movement. And the goal of the Cameroon Anglophone movement, my people, was a return to the two-state federation. I repeat, Cameroon Anglophone movement was formed for a return to a two-state federation. What did they achieve? From Barrister Enonchom to the late Ambassador Martin Ekogo Epie as chairman, the Biya regime, his family and cliques, refused to listen to the call of the Cameroon Anglophone movement. And that is how the All Anglophone Conference 1 and 2, Boya and Bamenda, came about. That is how the Cameroon Anglophone movement transformed itself to the Southern Cameroon's restoration movement, what they call SCAM. This is the history. I am not building up anything, especially to you, the younger generation. This is what people will not want you to know. And SCAM actually is the backbone of the Southern Cameroon's National Council. In other words, without Southern Cameroon's restoration movement, there would have been no SCNC. This is reality. Because the very members of SCAM were very members that kept SCNC going. So Cameroon Anglophone movement, which was fighting for federation, transformed itself into the Southern Cameroons. Hear how it comes. They did not say the Cameroon Restoration Movement, into the Southern Cameroon's Restoration Movement, which means we were now moving towards zero option, which is total independence. And that is how the All Anglophone Conference, which took place in Boya at Mount Mary Maternity, and the All Anglophone Conference, which took place in Bamenda, came up with documents like the Boya Peace Initiative and the Bamenda Declaration, which clearly stipulates why we are moving from the whole notion of federal system, which we have called for, into outright independence. And let me interject here. Let us not forget that a conference took place in Yaoundé, a shadowy constitutional conference, which was called the Tripartite. And our brothers, Carson Anyangwe, Simon Munzu, Sam Ekontang Elat, drafted a federal constitution that will respond at that particular time to the issues affecting the people of Ambazonia and to the people of La République du Cameroon, and took it to Yaoundé. It was dumped into a trash. So let no one deceive you that we have not tried. That we have not tried. Stitch every possibility to find a belief with our brothers and sisters the other way. I call them brothers and sisters because they are fellow human beings. And that is exactly whom I see. But that does not mean brothers and sisters don't fight. that they don't go to war. That will not stop us from taking what we want, from taking who we are back. And that is how we came to zero option. The delegation, the 9-man delegation that traveled the world and went to the UN with John Gu Foncha, Solomon Tandem Muna, Arnold Bo Yombang, Sam Ekonta Elad, Justice Mbu, all those people who went to the UN never came back talking about federation. That matter died long ago. This is a message to those of you federalists among us. You are either late in what you are aspiring for, or you are unknowingly trying to betray the cause of your people. I am pleading and begging to you to please remove the cobwebs from your eyes and do the right thing. The history is there, the facts are there, the documents are there. So just ask yourself, how will La République du Cameroon see us? We formed CAM, Cameroon Anglophone Movement, begging them to go back to the federal system of government. They even refused to talk to us. We even sent our own brains to prepare a constitutional framework. They dumped it into a trash. And then we told the world, held conferences, came up with a council, because the Southern Cameroon's National Council is not a movement or an organization. It was supposed to act as an assembly where all other movements, groups in the Southern Cameroons meet, until it was hijacked. And people now turned it into a movement in such a way it lost its purpose. These are realities people will not say, even though they know it, because they don't want to be in the bad books of their age groups, their peers, their age mates. My dear brothers and sisters, my people of Ambazonia, my name is Mr. Brook. I respect ideals. I am not respecter of individuals. I respect the people of Ambazonia. You must know the truth so that you can take your own destiny into your hands, so that nobody will force you from not doing what is right because you are scared of being labeled violent, being labeled insolent. That time has long expired. That is how we came to the issue of independence. So you tell me, how after we have done everything to resolve this issue, to go back to a two-state federation, which in reality never really existed because Ahijo kidnapped it alongside Biya. How could we now reach the level of independence? And these people have not given us any of the things we asked from the period of Cameroon Anglophone movement to the tripartite. And then we ourselves revert to the whole notion of federalism. What exactly is wrong with us? I don't want power. If somebody is scared that, no, I will do federalism because I am thinking that Akwanga will take power, please count me out. I want freedom, not power. People who know me as an individual know I am not interested in power. I am interested in doing what is right. Because I am not even sure that me, nor those of you, that your own children will benefit that free Ambazonia. It will definitely maybe be the grandchildren of Simon Achidi Achu and all those who have betrayed us. We will not send them away from Ambazonia. So now, can those of you who are federalists give me a justification on why, after we have done all of this, you have to go to the streets and start singing about federation? Look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what exactly do you want? Ask yourself that question. Don't say it is what Dr. Akwanga said. Ask yourself that question. If you have not learned the history, you have heard it from me today. If you are not sure of what, go out and investigate, and you will come back and tell me that is exactly the truth. We, a people, we want independence. That period of federation has long expired. Because in the Boya Peace Initiative, it is clearly stipulated how we have waited, what we have done to make sure we go back to a federal system. And constantly and persistently, we have been rebuked, insulted, persecuted, targeted, assassinated. My people, let us not let the late Mbongo be unable to rest in peace. Let us give joy to the spirit of Emmanuel Mbela Lifafa Endeli. We are the children of General Kuva Likenye. That one general, that Bakwarian who stood against the Germans. That is who we are. We are the Likenyes, the descendants of Kuva Likenye. A man who with his bare hands showed the bravery of the Bakwarians, the bravery of our brothers and sisters from the coast against the mighty weapons of the Germans. This is the 21st century. There is nothing that we want that we cannot have. We have to come together. We have to come together. My brothers and sisters of the bench, the time will come for you to draft a beautiful document for a beautiful homeland of Ambazonia. Now is not the time for politicking. Now is the time to study your past, study your history. Not the history books written by Julius Ngo and others who have distorted our history. The facts are there. Do you want copies of the Boya Peace Initiative and Bamenda Declaration? You will have them. The facts are there. We have long gone past the issue of federation. And we are not turning back. Period. We are not going back. Period. And we are not asking La République du Cameroon to come to the table for negotiation. Period. We will force them to negotiate on the terms of separation with us. This is a vow that even over my dead body, my spirit will not rest until this is achieved. What is the way forward? The way forward is for us to come together. This is the oath, the struggle, which I wrote in 1995. That oath, which was distorted when certain individuals took the helm of the SCNC. This oath I'm about to administer to you. Every Ambazonian watching me will have to lift up their hands and repeat after me. This is the oath which I read at Mount Mary maternity when the delegation returned from the UN. This is the oath which I read at the Mankong Municipal Stadium when that delegation was touring the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia. That oath was distorted by people who were so scared of the word war. They never even thought that there could be cold war or hot war. They never even thought that we have been at war since the 1960s. Unfortunately, it has been one side that is armed in that war. And they decided to sideline this oath. It is the pledge for our country. It is the oath of our struggle. And I want each and every one of you to repeat after me. Don't just repeat after me. Let it sink into you so that you will carry it as an armor to defend yourself. Repeat after me. Ambazonia must win this war. Therefore, I will walk. I will serve. I will fight. I will sacrifice and do my utmost, even unto death, as if the issue of the whole struggle for freedom depends on me alone. So help me God. That is the oath of our struggle. That is the pledge of our struggle. And that is what each and every one of you should carry. That is what you should inscribe on your Facebook pages. That is what you should speak about wherever you go. That is what you should use wherever you meet. Whether you are teachers, you are lawyers, we are all behind you as long as you look a greater goal. Because what is happening to you now, our brothers and sisters who have been thingified, you are producing the crux of the new generation of teachers, the new generation of administrators. Yet, how much are you being paid? How much are you being paid? You teachers, you could make or destroy a nation because you build up minds. But see how a system so evil has not only belittled you people, has messed up with your entire lives and the lives of your people. Don't go to any class to teach without administering that oath. You don't have to sing, "Oh Cameroon." That is not your anthem. You should administer this oath at any time so that it reminds you of where you come from. Before you go to bed to sleep, you have to repeat this oath. It will make you stronger. It will get you more positively angry, and you will turn that anger to bitterness. And what next? You will contribute for the struggle to remove this cancer that has bedeviled our nation, our people. To cast away this scourge from our lives forever. That is the oath of our struggle. It is time for us to fund the resistance. We are not hiding it. We are not hiding it. You haven't seen me mask my face to speak because I am not a terrorist. I am not a politician. I am just someone, the child of a peasant, someone down there who have refused to stay down there, who thinks it is time to rise again. Because truth, temporarily defeated, is stronger than evil triumphant. My people, let me tell you something. This is the time to fund the resistance. I will put the funding page once more on my Facebook page. In the coming days, I will present to you, the people of Ambazonia and Africa, Africa Freedom Radio. And through Africa Freedom Radio, you will listen to us wherever you are. Even when you are going to the farm, you will be able to listen to us. We will speak to you. It will be the voice of the voiceless. Through African Freedom Radio, we will rally together. And with our actions on the ground, end this evil that has overtaken our lives. I receive calls from Japan, from China, from South Korea. I just got a mail appealing to me to intervene on cases of affidavit of support for our own brothers, our own children who are suffering in Mexico at the moment. Just imagine, we have been made vagabonds. Vagabonds, that is who we are. When we used to grow, we have the belief that the whole idea of vagabondism goes with cattle rearers because they move from place to place. But who are we? The people of Ambazonia. Now, we can be found everywhere in the world. even in places where we will not be allowed to worship our God freely. Our sisters are doing slavery in Kuwait. They don't only do slavery, their bodies are used as sex objects 24 hours a day because they have no voice in their own homeland. Look at the UK. How many of you have met our sisters and brothers on the streets of the United Kingdom? A country that partly helped to betray us. A country that a few days ago were awarding millions upon millions into the covers of Paul Biya to develop where? Mbarmayo and areas of La République du Cameroon. Have you seen their suffering? Have you at any time thought that our brothers in China, in Japan, in Dubai, who are scattered all over the world, or your brother in Frukankang is feeling the same pain as the one in Mbongo, a Kondo Titi? Have you? We have to treat this as a personal issue, dear Ambazonians. This is personal to me. So when people say I put I, it is because it is personal. If it is not personal, it cannot be collective. You cannot pretend that you can cry more than someone who is bereaved until you think that you are the one who is bereaved. If every death of every Ambazonian is considered as our own death, every child killed is our brother, our son, our uncle, our nephew, we would have won that war before we actually seize it. We must fund our liberation. To those of you in Europe, to those of you who have the means to use cards, credit, debit, I am appealing to you. I am begging you from the bottom of my heart, please fund the revolution. Please fund the resistance. Please fund us. Some of you have given so much for this struggle. Some of you invested so much to the SDF. I cannot say I, Akwanga, or the Ambazonian Governing Council is not like them. The only thing I can let you know is that I have put my face at the forefront of this resistance, and I'm prepared to go to jail if that will be the cost, or I'm prepared to die if that will be the cost. If you want me back home, I am prepared to come back home, but you must prepare that avenue, prepare that groundwork so that I can come back home and we finish this job. If you don't get involved, you will not stop those who are already involved, but you will only make the resistance more deadly. And at that time, consensuously, you will be held responsible for how deadlier that resistance becomes. You must fund the revolution, because by investing in this resistance, you are not just investing for yourself, you are investing for the generations of children yet unborn. The only negotiation we will have with La République du Cameroon will be that negotiation when we will sit across the table with a third party and decide on how to divide the assets, especially those assets that they have taken away from us. My dear people, this is the hour of resistance. This is the hour for us to take back what is ours. This is the hour for us to seize back our lives. You can see here, I bear on my body the marks of our suffering. This was an attempt with the boot of a gun in Jakiri to remove my tooth, to remove everything I have in me. You know why? It failed because our cost is genuine. And we have every right, legitimate and moral, conscious right, to meet fire with fire. If you form the resistance, I can assure you that La République du Cameroon will not go to sleep if the people of Ambazonia are not able to sleep. We don't want war, but war has been imposed upon us. We don't want to hate any individual, but they have hated us. We don't want to insult any individual, but they keep insulting and thingifying us every now and then. We see them as humans. They see us as something less than tissue papers. They have thingified us. I can assure you they have frightened us so much so that even here in the West, they are your brothers and sisters here who are so scared to see the word violent or war in a forum. And they are asking people to take those words down. They are cowards. And it is true that cowards die many times before they are dead. But each and every one of you, I see heroism in you. You are the true heroes, not me. Because you have put your lives at the forefront. You die every day in attempt to make a better living for yourself and for your family. My dear people, look at us. We have been reduced in a situation where even when we pay taxes, and the very state that collects our money opens a mushroom school, what do? We sense motions of support. Why actually that is supposed to be the job of the state? What else do we want as an example? Did Chiroma not said it all yesterday? That we are an insignificant minority. And as if that is not worst, do you know that they compare us, the people of Ambazonia, to the pygmies? That when we complain for what they are doing to us, they tell us that even the pygmies too have a problem. How far should we let these people go before we realize that they don't belong in our world? Look at what they have done to our brothers and sisters who are born in our own homeland. I mean our brothers and sisters who are Bamis, Basa, and even Etun. Because truly, in reality, they are Ambazonians until they prove otherwise. Look at what they have done. Take, for example, Ngasa, who is born in Munya. He has never been in Baham. The day he goes to Baham, the people of Baham rejects Ngasa and tell Ngasa, we don't want you here. Go back to where you come from. If Ngasa doesn't embrace Ambazonia, Ngasa becomes a stateless person. Because Baham will not accept him. Which means La République du Cameroun rejects Ngasa. So Ngasa, when will you realize that you are an Ambazonian? Mbok, when will you realize that you are not from a Deya, you are from Tiko? And that is where you belong. That is where your navel was buried. And that is where your allegiance should be. Now, Dictator Biya, his family and his clique wants you to see us as dangerous so that you shouldn't see what they have done to you. So that you should join them in thingifying the people of Ambazonia, your own people. My brothers and sisters, my children, my wives, my daughters, my moms, my dads, my uncles, my nephews, my nieces, my cousins. This is not a joking matter. This is not time for every individual to think that they should go to Facebook and produce a video. Some of them even complicating the whole issue. This is time that we should have a synergy of action. This is time for us to move forward. In the coming days, I'll be addressing our brothers and sisters in the military. I will also talk to our moms and dads who, because of the system, never had an opportunity to go to school. I will address them in the pidgin language. I can see in each and every one of you that heroism of your homeland. And I can bet you, if you count on the Ambazonia Governing Council, you will not be failed. If you count on the work that is being done by Teuru Roland Fominyan, Lucas Cho Ayaba, and all the others of the Governing Council, I can bet you will not be failed. Even if you don't like me, even if you don't like my ways, even if you just hate me out of outright jealousy, but you believe in anything I say here, please, I beg you, fund the resistance. Because we must take back our lives. Fund the resistance and get involved. The hour for federation expired long ago. Dr. Arnold Boy Yombang, a man with 5 visha, Barrister Enon, the late Albert Woman Mokong, Ambassador Martin Ekogo Epie. I can go on and on and on and on. They did everything within their powers. Christmas Ebini Atem did everything within his own powers at that time with Cameroon Anglophone movement to make these people see reason that we can live together in a 2-state. They told us to hell with you. They told us to go to hell. They thingified us. They increased the persecution of our people. They got your son, bundled him from Jakiri, tortured him, sexually molested him, fed him with feces and urine, sent him to solitary confinement. Yes. And they jailed him for 20 years. They killed Kang Zakaria and Difet. And before he died, they amputated his toes. They killed Philip Tete. They killed Emmanuel Conce. And before he died, they used a 6-inch nail pierced through the pelvis, through the entrance of his penis, and dumped him at Sapga Hill. They led Ngwa Richard Fomuso to die on the spring bed at Kondenge Maximum Security Prison. And without rapid intervention, rats would have eaten his scrotum and his eyes. They buried Faye Lawrence in an unknown grave in Yaoundé. They poisoned Taneng Daniel. One family lost 2 brave warriors. If you don't want to do it for me, please do it for these people who have lost their lives. Do it for Julius Ngundi, a 3rd-year physics student from the University of Chang, who walked out of the university, who walked out of his classroom when he was closer to his degree to sacrifice his life for each and every one of you. Please, do it for them. Do it for Papa Abendong. Do it for Augustine Gumjoa. Do it for Motombi Woleta, that journalist who did everything possible to unmask La République du Cameroon, who stood for our homeland. Or you can do it for General Kovali Kenya, who gave everything and make the Germans to respect who we are as a people. Please fund the resistance, because there is no turning back. Fund the resistance so that we can handle this faster and in a well-coordinated manner. Because if you don't fund the resistance is still ready to go, but it will be chaotic. This hour, this day, we must all say Ambazonia must win this war. Therefore, I will walk. I will serve. I will fight. I will sacrifice. I will endure and do my utmost, even unto death, as if the issue of the whole struggle depended solely on me alone. So, help me God. That should be what we should carry as our armor on our breastplate. That should be what should carry us when we use our credit and debit cards to fund the revolution, to fund the resistance, to fund our freedom. That should be what we should carry when we make phone calls to talk to one another. My doors are open 24 hours. I am your servant. That is who I am. This is not an issue of power tussle. This is not an issue to take power in Yaoundé. Every individual has a capacity to do something for our people, and we each have our individual capacity. Nobody can tell me we are not ready. I taught the entire Southern Cameroons. I taught the entire land of Ambazonia, from Kembo to Tinto, Ekondo Titi, Mbongo. I've been to Funkankan, Furawa, Sabongari. I've been to the nooks and crannies of our homeland, and never did anyone challenge the whole notion of independence. My people, there is something I want you to know. Kenneth David Kaunda, one-time president of the Republic of Zambia, Pan-Africanist, said something a couple of years ago, which I have, for the notion of our struggle, paraphrased, so that you will be able to understand it well. With your permission, I will read it. The power that established the state of La République du Cameroun is violence. We know how they gain independence. The power that keeps it running is violence. We saw it a few days ago in Bamenda, and we continue to see it in our homeland. So therefore, the power upon which we must rely on to destroy it and remove it from controlling our lives forever is violence. Not of our own making, but of their own creation. Because they told us that if we truly want to live in peace, we must prepare ourselves for war. That is what they said. Not me. La République du Cameroun said that. That we must prepare ourselves for war. Yes. As Professor Ali Manzouri, Africa's foremost writer, Africa's son, once said, for speaking to us, the people of Ambazonia, that we Ambazonians, we are not just a people, we are a nation. And that we are not just a nation, but we are a concept. And we are more than a concept. We as a people, a nation and a concept, must become Africa's positive glimpse into the future. That is what we are supposed to be. These are not words. These are issues which we must take from the burning of our hearts. You will now know why those of us who stick for independence has a justifiable reasons. And you will not know why federation is not only absurd, but it makes us look more stupid more foolish, more idiotic in the eyes of La République du Cameroon. Because we have long passed that period and we can no longer go back. I will be speaking candidly, fervently, and vehemently to Biya tomorrow. I want to lay the case of why we have been compelled to be extremists for freedom. I want to lay the case with images and with facts on what Biya has done to us. I want to lay the case for what he has done to La République du Cameroon. And I want to lay the case why La République du Cameroon is one among few countries that cannot celebrate its Independence Day of 1st January 1960 because they know that the people of Ambazonia are not part and parcel of who they are. That we merely came together and we had nothing to do with their independence. I want to lay the case that without us, without our good governance and our respect for international norms, our Bamelekis, Etons and Bassa brothers who fought within the UPC would have all been slaughtered. That we did not only give them hope, we gave them a fresh start and the necessary protection. I want to lay the case that until Ambazonia is free, La République du Cameroon will continue to remain one large concentration camp, not just for the people of Ambazonia, but a very large prison for every citizen of La République Cameroon. Whether you are called Ungene, Emana, Mbok, Mbasi, whether you are called Ngasa or Kameni, whether you are called Kunchu, you will be able to realize that you are in one big prison. And because you are not free, you are compelled to do things that the holder of the keys of the gate of the jail, Paul Biya, requires of you. My people, I want to leave you now so that I can continue to walk the phones, respond to your chat messages, make the calls, and plead for us to come together and to fund the resistance. I want to leave you knowing that you will back the Ambazonia Governing Council. You will back everything that is being done. I want to leave you appealing that the name Ambazonia should not be of concern to you, for that has been the problem to some people. Our zeal is to erase everything Cameroonese from us. That it is important we pick up an identity and start using it as a people. And when we would have achieved independence, we could call our homeland the Republic of Cuba, following the exploits of Cuba Likenye. We could give it any name that we want. Well, we must cease from being Cameroonians. Because until we do that, our individual and collective ability to go broke and fight for total independence will be hampered. Because when we are Cameroonians, we will still think about the indomitable lions. We will think about the lioness and the Gino lions. We will be captured on our television fronts to watch their exploits. Why we know they will only use us and dump us. We must cease being Cameroonians. And we must do that from now if we have not done so. We must cease. In my house, I have put a ban. Nobody wears anything Cameroonian to come to my house. You do that, you will pull it and put it outside. Put a different jacket and come into my house. If you don't do that, I see you as an individual who has joined with La République du Cameroon to persecute me as an individual, to persecute my family for what we have gone through. I need that little iota of respect. And that is what each and every one of us should do. For all of you who are Ambazonians and have the green yet yellow, please, as your profile picture, it is important you change it. You can use Menchum Falls, Mount Fako. You can use the picture of Ambendong, Endeli. You can use any other thing. You must know your heroes. You must accept them for who they are. Because I have accepted each and every one of you as my hero and heroines. For that is exactly who you are. You must let Mrs. Nalova Pauline Lyonga, whether it is Lyonga or whatsoever she calls herself, know that you will not be able to write those exams because she wants you to write them. Let me tell you something. When you stand for truth, you are always on the winning side. When I was demonstrating on the streets with students from the then Yaoundé University, calling for the creation of the University of Boya, a good majority of my classmates in high school were in class studying. Everyone said, no, he is doing that because he's going to fail. Do you know what happened? When the GC advanced level came in, GHS Victoria performed poorly. But I had one of the best results. I stood for truth. I was not the brightest. I've never considered myself a genius or the brightest. But because I am with truth, truth has never abandoned me. When we went to the University of Boya, we faced the same issue. When there was a strike action, I told the students no violence, and we stood for it. They listened to me. And after the strike action, we won. The students won, not me. We won and make sure they will never institute 550,000 francs CFA. And I paid for it. I knew it was coming. I accepted it. But before I was summarily dismissed and banned from attending any institutions of higher learning in that hell of a place, I went in and wrote the exams. Can you imagine? Even the late Professor Zakaria Njuma, the husband of Dorothy Limunga Njuma, the then Vice Chancellor, could not hold back his pen from scoring me an A grade. While we were demonstrating, other students were preparing and reading. But when the time came in, truth was on our side. Truth will always be on your side, every student of the University of Boya. That university that has been reduced to a glorious high school. What we fought for, sacrificed so much for, has been reduced into a dustbin. We are fully aware of that. But to conclude, I want each and every one of you to know this. The problems our brothers and sisters of the bench, the lawyers, are facing, the problems our teachers are rightfully complaining about. Some are being persecuted at this moment. In Kumba, the Dio is moving around collecting names. I want that Dio, to those of you in Kumba, let him have this video. Tell him I know about him. I know about his family. I know where he goes. I even know the name of his girlfriend. And that we will get to him. We will get to him. For every hair of a teacher that is touched, like the principal was arrested in Munya, for every lawyer that has been wounded, like the daughter of my father, my uncle, the late Pa Time John Edie, and others, for our brother Charles, who was gunned down cold-bloodedly a few days ago in Bambili. We will stand by each and every one of you and make sure that this will never go without a response. We are all moving corpses. Have we ever seen where a corpse is afraid to enter a coffin? We have no reason to be afraid to die. Because whether we like it or not, every Ambazonian, including those who are conniving with the system like Atanganji, they are not free. Because no free man will air out sanctimonious trivialities against his own people. Atanganji forgets that he has a family, he has an extended family, and that the venom of the people can desecrate his family, can make sure that no one from his bloodline ever lives again. My brothers and sisters, I want to leave you now. But even as I have an urge to go, there's still something that is asking me to stay and talk to you people. But we will do this another day. Tomorrow, I will put our records to bear unto the world. I will let him see how evil he is. And I will let those who judge me, who judge us as insignificant minority, as extremists, know that no labeling this time will stop us from taking back our lives. I love each and every one of you. But that love will be greater if we make a day in Boya where we will be able to sing that glorious song of freedom. But we cannot make that day in Boya only through videos like this, only through Facebook and WhatsApp. We cannot make that day in Boya only through writing resolutions of condemnation for the killing, persecution of our people. We cannot make that day in Boya only by wearing our suits and hiding behind our screens and talking. We cannot make that day in Boya if we do not put our lives as the ultimate sacrifice for freedom. In our own way, we must do that. We must do that. Just look at me. Look at what I have gone through. Do you think I'm alive because I'm a super being? Because I'm perfect? No, I'm a sinner. I am full with a bunch of sins. They are countless. I am not perfect. I am alive because I am just an angel, a disciple, a messenger of truth. I say it as I see it, even when people don't like it. That is who I am. Obtaining a doctorate degree will not change me. Being a professor will not change me. I call it as I see it, and I do it as I know it will work. I weep for and I weep for each and every one of you. But I beg you to help me to turn my tears to tears of joy by funding the resistance. Do whatever is possible to fund the resistance. Everything that is possible, do it to fund the resistance. If you are in the United States and you find it difficult to contribute directly to GoFundMe or to send a direct contribution to the bank account in the UK, we are prepared to take your contribution and give you a receipt so that you can use it as a tax deductible contribution. We will do that. We are not in hiding. This is me. This is who I am. You can't change me. Those who know me know me. From primary to secondary school, I am just who I am. So you can insult me. You can call me names. You can't change me. You can't change me, just as we as a people cannot change Paul Biya, his family, and all those who work with him to persecute us. When it comes to independence, I am a bended stick that cannot be straightened. And that is what each and every one of you should be. That we have bent so low for independence that anything short of that will break us. You are welcome to my well of reality. You are welcome to truth. Fund the resistance, and you will have everything that is needed to end this curse upon us as a people. We are wealthy, we are rich, we are kind, we are loving. Even our traditional rulers have been reduced to numbers: first class, second class, and third class. Look at what Achidi Achu did to the Mbe people, forcing widows who have nothing to live on to sell their piece of land to him. Destroy their livelihood, destroy their lives. If Achidi Achu, Simon Achidi Achu, was a normal human being, will he do that? It is not everybody who puts on a dress who is normal. In a real way, Achidi Achu should be under treatment in Bombay, where they treat mad people. Because people like him and Atanganji, Paul, they are crazy. They don't have hearts. These are people that when they die, their spirit will be refused in hell. You can see how bad they are. That even in hell, Lucifer will refuse to receive their spirit. Turn yourself away from all these non-entities, these iguanas who are making sanctimonious statements. Don't watch CRO TV. African Freedom Radio is coming. Don't watch it. Turn yourself away from them. Play our own music. Whether it is Moninkin, it is Njang, or whatsoever. Listen to us and believe in who you are. We as a people must do this. I thank you for watching. Now, I'm begging for you to act. I'm begging for you to act now. Each and every one of you, wherever you are. So that together, we will be able to see that day of freedom. I will see you tomorrow, same time. But as I go, I want you to repeat after me. Ambazonia must win this war. Therefore, I will walk, I will serve, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will fight, I will endure, and do my utmost, as if the issue of the whole struggle depended solely on me alone. So, help me, God. Good night, good day, good afternoon. I love you all.